The Millennium were a band from Los Angeles. They were formed in 1967 by some musicians who'd already got some work under their belts. They recorded an album which was released in 1968, and then they disbanded. Although, to be fair, it may be that that was always the intent, that they were a one-off project. Retrospectively, they have been labelled as Sunshine Pop. Hi, my name's Dan, and this is the only album by the Millennium. It's my first encounter with this album, and I'd not heard of them before, so this has been an entirely new experience to me. And I did what I normally do, but is particularly effective, I think, in these situations, which is I did a listen, completely blind listen, or deaf. No, that doesn't work either. And then a read, and then another listen, so an informed listen second. Apparently, this was the second album after the Simon and Garfunkel album Bookends to use 16-track technology. And at that time, when it was made, it was the most expensive album ever made at $100,000. And it's been described as sunshine pop, but also as psychedelic pop. And I would quite happily go along with the description of it being psychedelic pop, but I think the sunshine element is useful because it is kind of happy psychedelic stuff. It is generally happy in the main. It's some nice kind of tinkly sounds and vocal harmonies. It's somewhere in the kind of spectrum of light rock or poppy stuff. With occasional bits of maybe a slight folk feel occasionally. There are shades of Beach Boys, I would say, with occasional kind of sound effects and maybe some more Indian-style instrumentation, which is part of what brings that psychedelic label to it. And the overall feel is quite airy and pleasant. They feel quite earnest in what they're doing. Now, apparently 5 tracks here were actually recorded by a previous band of the guy who's probably the mainstay here, a band called The Ballroom, but it doesn't show, although probably my favourite track, which is Karmic Dream Sequence number 1, is one of those. And this has a more experimental and Beatles soundscape, psychedelic feel to it. It's a little bit of kind of experimental weirdness. And the last track, Anthem, is also somewhat, well, more than somewhat kind of experimental weirdness. It's about sounds and doing odd things. So between those two, I can't remember if there's anywhere else in the album where it's that kind of full on. Most of the rest of them are kind of fairly straightforward songs, but with this kind of sunshiny, psychedelic, mildly feel to it. The songs are seemingly innocuous and positive cosmic stuff. Kind of almost pseudo-philosophy at times, but some of it apparently is political, but American political, so I didn't necessarily spot it. My favourite line in the album is a track called, let me just check, There Is Nothing More to Say. That's what I thought it was called. And they kind of sing a fair number of things, and then they sing There Is Nothing More to Say, la la da, la la da, la la da, and then they don't say anything more. And I think that's the last words on the album, which is just great that they make that joke. I quite enjoyed it. I've got a soft spot for the psychedelic side of things, both the lighter side and the darker side, like Jefferson Airplane and stuff. And this was kind of mildly dipping its toe in that direction, and I found it fairly pleasant. So that's what I think of the album. As always, I'd love to ask you what you think of the album. So let me do that. What do you think of this album? Would you please let me know by leaving me a comment down in the comments down there? And that's it from me for now.